Hey guys, Dan here.
Hey guys, Paul Danner here. My son Caleb, funny man behind the camera. Is that good enough of an intro? Can we start?
Sure.
Okay, 2019 Ford Expedition. This is my wife's car. We have an issue with the proximity door locks where when I reach my hand to unlock the door with a key in hand, it doesn't work. Push down on the button to lock it. It doesn't work on either the driver's door or the passenger door on the driver's side. It does, did I say that right? Rear door, driver's side. It does work on the other side. History of this all worked until we had an accident. We hit a deer in this corner. I still think I have pictures of it. Pretty extensive damage down in here. The deer went up under the wheel well, ripped the inner wheel well out. There was some damage to some wiring under here that I had repaired before I took it to the body shop to get us home. All this was done. So this fender was new, bumper was new, the fascia, I think you call it that, the cover for the bumper is new. And then they also had these two door panels apart because they had to blend the paint in. So the door handles were off, the door panels were apart. And since then, these have not worked on this side. So we believe it's related to the body shop repair. Full disclosure here, I did most of the troubleshooting off camera. I needed to know what I was dealing with. This is an unfamiliar system, so I did a lot of description, operation, stuff that would be boring to you guys on camera for the most part. I'll rehash what I did. I'm mostly done. I think I know what the problem is. Let me walk you through the steps I took up to the point where I'm like, okay, Caleb, turn the camera on, let's go, I'm ready. So let's go inside the car, let's see what codes we have, see what works, see what doesn't work, we'll go from there. So I guess the first thing while we're inside the car, just to be quick here, we're using the TopDon Phoenix Lite 2. This is the first time you guys have seen this. I asked TopDon to send me one, and much to my gratefulness, they did. That's not how you say that. Much to my surprise. But I was thinking, much to my surprise, it wasn't a surprise. I knew it was coming. Why am I using their products? Not because they send them to me, because they're good. Because they're good. Anyway, Phoenix Lite 2, your first view of the Phoenix Lite 2, guys, that's what we're looking at. We have a system topology. I love this a lot, man. To have that is pretty sweet. We'll do a smart scan of all modules for you guys. I did do a code clear and rescan before, but I want you guys to see this process, and Caleb's going to speed it up probably a little bit in the edit. So let's do a smart scan. Let's do it. This is scanning all modules on this car. It also gives you pins, which I like. You see the stuff that it's scanning right now is the high-speed CAN on pins 3 and 11. So it says it right there on the screen. You scroll up and you see high-speed CAN on 6 and 14. So pretty sweet that we're doing that right from the DLC, and we're given pin numbers on the DLC. You see we have 2 codes in the BCM. I have a code in the TCU1. I didn't have that before.
What's TCU?
I will tell you in a second. Good question. What are all these abbreviations? You can click on each one and find out. Like I can click on TCU1, it says Telematics Control Unit Module, says missing comm with ECM. I didn't have that code before. That's a memory code, but that's one way, click each one, or you can go to the system list up here, up top, and then it has them all defined for you in parentheses, which is really, really nice. Okay, so my BCM, I have 2 faults. Codes that I have in the BCM, it's showing a FR fog lamp, which would be front right fog lamp, and then FL door external antenna, that would be front left. A door antenna fault, this P1336, that's the one we're chasing. Okay, so familiarizing ourselves with the system is important. Also knowing that the code was in the BCM helps me in what module I want to look at for data stream. So I'm going to enter the BCM next before we go to Mitchell or ProDemand, whatever service info you guys use. Before we go there, I want to see what I can do from the driver's seat first. And so we'll read the data stream. And what I want to do for this part is I want to talk about some different scan tools, because you guys know that I have quite a few different ones that we use. And the first thing that we look at in this data list, this is in the BCM2, the body control module. Notice it shows 0/259. So there's 259 data parameters on the BCM, 259 pieces of data. When I plugged in off camera I plugged in the top-down Max and I plugged in the Autel Ultra. I had very similar data parameter list. The Max and the Autel both had about the same number of data PIDs. I took pictures. Caleb can put these in post-production. Let me just see what we got here. So we're comparing scan tools. That's the purpose of this for you guys. Same exact data lists for those two scan tools. The Autel one, unfortunately, doesn't number them, so I couldn't tell you that part. But in the driver's door, let's look at that real quick. Okay, this is kind of what made me grab the other data scan tools. I only have 6 parameters in the driver's door module on this scan tool. So I grabbed some other ones to see if I was missing it. It's the same for Autel. It's the same for the Max. When I go to the passenger door, these are all things we're going to be looking at. When I go to the passenger door module, the PDM, I just thought it strange that I had so many different data parameters for the passenger side, but only 6 for the driver's side. I'm showing 54 data parameters for the passenger door module. And so that's what made me grab these other scan tools. This one is the same. The Max has 54. And then the Autel, I had to select them to show a number. I have 50 selected, and there were still 2 left in the list. So there were 54 on the Phoenix Light 2 for the passenger door. Anyway, scan tool stuff. This was all stuff I was doing off camera because I'm trying to find the data lists I need to troubleshoot this. And honestly, it's all in the BCM. And I was disappointed that I didn't have all of the data that I wanted. So back in the BCM 259, I'm just going to pick all the data I think is relevant to what we're dealing with. All right, we're going to back up on what I said before. As far as this data list goes, what I was looking for without you guys is I was looking for the status of all the doors, lock and unlock, and then positions of the doors. I know all of the door positions are good because if I open any of the doors, my door jar light comes on, interior lights come on. But what I was getting at is my friend Matt Fonslow recently did a video for us on Premium where it was a proximity sensor issue on the car. And what he showed in the data was when he put his hand in there and did all his things, that the switches were working properly. What it ended up being was a driver's door lock switch was either in the lock or the unlock position all the time. Do you remember which one it was?
I don't remember which.
I can't remember. If it wouldn't unlock, that means the door switch was indicating it was in an unlocked position all the time. So why would you unlock it when the state was already saying unlocked? Right? Or if it was the other way around, if it wouldn't lock, that means the door lock switch was indicating that it was already locked.
I'm just touching the handle and unlocks that door. But if you follow me on the passenger side, we'll lock. It's not working. Let's do the outside button. We know that works. The lock button. That works. And now for the mind job. Are you ready? The car sees it, but it doesn't work. I'm gonna change it lock to unlock. And can you see it moving? So it's indeed moving. Let's walk over there. Okay, it's back to the passenger door lock switch unlock, and I'm going to manually move it. It does not change state.
I'm looking for that stuff. I'm looking for each door lock and unlock, and I'm looking for my proximity sensors. Unfortunately, it's not there. I don't have data for all 4 doors in this list. So you guys can go with me here as I'm looking. That's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna do anything with the doors. I was looking also for the key transmitter to have some kind of data parameter to tell me that the key is close. I did not see that. For the left rear door, the only thing that we have is whether or not it's open or closed. And that makes sense from a lock or unlock standpoint because there is no switch back there for that. The lock or unlock status. Maybe it's just not monitored for the rear doors. I'm not sure. Passenger door ajar switch. It doesn't give me passenger door. But maybe that's just why we have a whole bunch more data parameters in the passenger door module. I'll have to look at that again because I know that works. So it only gives me the left front door lock, the left front door unlock, the right front door lock, and the right front door unlock. It does not give me the rear doors on any scan tool. This is what made me grab other scan tools. I was like, all right, well, you know, if I'm talking about the Top Don Phoenix Lite 2 and I'm saying, hey, for you guys out there starting out, it's a great first scanner. It's like $800, full function scan tool, bidirectional controls. This is the stuff I've been saying. And I'm like, well, I want to compare these scan tools because like I feel like I'm missing data here, but all of my scan tools are missing the same data. And so this is not a scan tool thing. This would be a Ford thing, or
an aftermarket scan tool?
It could be an aftermarket scan tool thing where a factory scan tool would give me more than this 259 data parameters. Yeah. But it's not any of my other scan tools that are going to help me any further. So I just have 11 PIDs. I don't see anything else that's helpful at all. I'm just hitting OK. And what I'm looking at here is right now my driver's door's open, right? So I'll close the door. See, it says closed. So the doors are all closed. And then my touch sensors, I'm going to need to get out to do that. So you need to follow me. But before we do that, there really is no lock status that I could find. Door lock output, it says no active control. If I hit the switch over here that you guys saw before and hit the unlock, you see it says unlock all doors. It's quick on the scan tool. It said that door lock. And then if I lock it, it says lock all doors. But what it doesn't give me is a data parameter for is the door locked or unlocked at the switch, like the one that Matt was showing us on the proximity doors, and it didn't work. So I was looking for that. I still am looking for that, but let's do the door switch proximity sensors first. I'll show you what the result of that is, and then we'll look at the other two door modules and see if we have lock information as far as the switches go. But I don't see a data PID for that here. All right, so I have the touch sensors pulled up on the scan tool. When you put your hand inside here, that's the unlock. Notice the touch sensor request. Left front door says yes. It will take a second or two for that to switch back to no. And then the stripes that are right here on the door, it's actually on the bottom or the top. You just touch it and that should lock the door. Notice it says left front door lock. It says yes. So it's recognizing the touch for the unlock and lock. You know, a lot of parts changers maybe at this point would be like, well, throw a door handle in it. That's working like it's supposed to be. Let's do the rear one now. Oh, I'm sorry. There is no data for the rear door. I'm looking at the other front. So we have nothing for this door. Touch sensor, right front door unlock. It says yes right now. Give it a second. It's delayed in reaction. Put my hand in there, immediately says yes, right? The unlock, watch, immediately says yes. Right? Lock and unlock works perfectly. What we don't know still is the status of all four doors. Remember, that's important on some of these. Neither side works over here. I don't have data for this. I guess I should show you that. Let's show you the rears. Nothing. Let's go that side. Unlock. Lock. I don't have data for the rears, but they work. Okay. I did go through this data list multiple times, can't find lock status. So then I was like, all right, well, let's go to the driver's door module and then see what info we have in the driver's door module. There's nothing here. Where do you see it? So I have trouble codes, window switch, rear right window switch, and then ECU operating status and codes. Like there's nothing here. There's nothing for the lock status for this car. That's in the driver's, and then the passenger door PDM, it's not here either, I don't think. It is possible that it's somewhere else and I'm just unaware of it because of the system design, but let's look and see what we have. I'm looking at the left column first. Rear lock feedback. It's only giving me the rear lock feedback. It says off. Hit that passenger switch for me. It says rear lock feedback is off. I don't even know what that is then. Oh, maybe it's the back. I don't know. Look, here's the point. I don't have the data I'm looking for as far as the locks go on this system. So at this point, I'm looking at service information. I've already done that. What I did, I looked at diagrams too, but I went under handles, locks, latches, and entry systems. And then I went under description operation. And then I went component locations, of course. I went to the overview. The main components is the BCM. We looked at that. The DDM, that's driver's door module, door latches, switches. The DRDM, that's with rear door one touch windows. Are they one touch windows in the back? They are not. So there's a module that's missing or added with the DRDM if it has one touch rears, exterior door lock handles, horn, IKT. If you quit keyless entry antennas, keypad. So IKT, we'll have to look at that. Liftgate, PDM, right? We looked at that. RGTM, we did not look at that. RGTM and RTM. I'm just seeing if we had the lock info that I was looking for. This is our passive entry system is what we're dealing with here. It says passive entry unlocks and locks doors or opens the power liftgate if equipped without having the use of a mechanical key or the RKE transmitter. So that's our remote key transmitter. It says with a program passive key within 1 meter or 3.28 feet from the outside door, you touch the lock and unlock sensors on the exterior door handle. The doors lock or unlock depending on which sensor was touched on the handle. Skipping down. When the BCM detects a lock or unlock sensor is touched on an exterior door handle or the liftgate release button is pressed, it activates the corresponding low frequency antenna in the corresponding exterior door handle and inside the cargo area. The low frequency antenna sends out a signal to the passive key. The low frequency signal activates the passive key and passive key sends a high frequency signal back to the RTM. So this guy's involved is what it's talking about. So in other words, I think I'm reading this right. When you hit the button, there's an antenna in there that then talks to this, and then this does, without pressing the button, a lock and unlock feature to the car. That's the way I'm reading it, because it says the low frequency antenna sends out a signal to the passive key. The low frequency signal activates the passive key and the passive key sends a high frequency signal back to the RTM. That's just to make sure that everything's good with this key for this. This is involved in the safety process of somebody else coming over here and pressing those buttons without the key. It's not going to happen. So it's going to know basically those signals. When I'm putting my hand in there and pushing the buttons, you see it says yes or no, right? Mm-hmm. BCM is going to see that. And then it says it activates a low frequency antenna. So it's the BCM's talking to this door handle, has an antenna in it. That low frequency antenna then talks to this, right? Sends out a signal to the passive key. The low frequency signal activates the passive key, and the passive key then sends a high frequency signal back to the RTM. The RTM is, I'll tell you what the RTM is in a second. It says the RTM interprets a high frequency signal from the passive key and sends the information to the BCM if requested action is performed if the BCM detects a passive key. All right, my next step, that was way more than I did before. I am Captain Longwind. We're trying to learn this system, so if you didn't like that part, I apologize. My next thing that I went to was my wiring diagrams. I went to system wiring diagrams. I want to see these door lock circuits. I want to see how they're controlled. And so I went to power door locks. It's a 5-page diagram. What I'm looking at here is my BCM. Okay. I was just looking at the BCM and then what all components do we have here? Right, there's my key switch assembly that's outside. It's on the door. I'll show you that when we get outside. I have an intrusion inclination sensor, not relevant to what we're doing right now. Continuation of the diagram, we are dealing with the BCM still up top. And then this is significant here. We're going to find out why in a minute. My left front exterior door handle, it shows a vehicle bat and a ground. Okay, the outer 2 wires. VBAT is generally vehicle battery voltage, right? And it is a solid box. So that's the full view. And then the middle 2 wires are an antenna. There's antenna minus and antenna plus. The left rear door exterior handle, notice it has 2 pins. It only has a sense data and then a ground on pins 1 and 4. I'm wondering if that's accurate. The VBAT, maybe that should be sense data on 1. Notice the right front door exterior handle, same thing. We got 4 pins, and the rear one only has 2 pins, 1 and 4. It says sense data and ground. So basically, you know, you're still getting your signals. I feel like that might be a misprint, although it could be, yeah, it's a misprint because it says vehicle bat up top here. Look, it says VBAT. See it? VBAT. So that, in my opinion, on this diagram is a misprint. This shouldn't say VBAT right here on the 4-pin design. It should say sense data.
Or is it the other way around?
It wouldn't be, because you have to have a signal. If there's only 2 pins, we know the rear one works. So talking about this guy, right? We know this right rear handle works. It's only 2 pins. It can't be a power and a ground, because where's your signal at? There has to be a signal. The signal circuit, it's a signal and a ground. It's like a switch. There's more inside of that. It's not a simple switch, but that's what it's doing.
Gotcha.
Okay? It's going to be a high-low type signal, maybe a midpoint for lock and a full ground for unlock, or vice versa. I'm not totally sure. I want you guys to keep in mind this all worked until the accident. And I should add, this all worked even after the accident. When this stopped working is when I got the car back from the body shop. So I am under the assumption the entire time they were in this door, they were in that door, they had to leave something unplugged. But as I'm looking at the diagrams, I'm like, well, the switch works, right? The signals are there. So it can't be unplugged. Can't be unplugged. But I took the driver's door panel off. I'm going to show you what I found here in a second. But before we do that, I just want to see the rest of what's in this as far as the diagram goes, and looking for our lock and unlock circuits. We see the right front door lock switch is on this diagram. Where does it go? Then the left front door lock switch, it all goes to the driver's door module, which I don't have data for that. Then the passenger door module. Is there a switch in the door? See, I don't even see door switches here. These lock switches are on the panel, but I don't see anything for the doors themselves. That's 3 of 5. Let's look a little further. Liftgate. Okay, so there's a liftgate latch, a glass latch. There's an ajar switch. All of this is irrelevant to this particular repair, but it is relevant in some applications. I cannot stress this enough. You guys need to watch my friend Matt Fonslow's video. The issue with his car was a latch switch in the lock mechanism itself. On the outer part of the door, there's a lock and unlock switch, or at least a lock switch in there that tells the module the door is actually locked. And that's where the problem was. And that's why I'm so focused on where are my lock and unlock, the door state. I can't find that data. It's not relevant to our repair at all. And I'll show you why here in a second. This is the BCM still. Okay, cool. We do have a latch, right front door latch, and it goes to the BCM. So we're looking at that circuit. It's just an ajar switch. There is no, on the right front door latch itself. That makes sense, and why I don't have a data parameter for a lock or unlock switch on the door latch, because it does not exist. It is a power motor, and it is a door ajar switch. That's it. See the solid line on the right front door latch? It's not there. So we have a data parameter I'm looking for that does not exist on this car. That's pretty significant. Every car is different. So we have ajar switches. Look, there's the rest of our latches. Left front door latch, right rear door latch. So we have our answer there. The data parameters I was looking for, they're not there. I do remember seeing ajar switches on the, I don't remember if it had all 4 of them or not, but okay, this is the important part. There's 2 pins on the back door handle. There's 4 pins on the front one. Let's go in and take a look. The factory diagram showed that too, from what I remember. And I was like, all right, well, something's got to be damaged. Remember, because the switches work, but maybe the antenna's messed up. I don't know. Come here. All right, so I'm not telling you to go buy more tools. All you need is a mirror and a light for this next part. However, I have an inspection camera that I can show you guys a much better picture. Oh, fudge brownies.
Is it dead?
Yes. It's dead.
That thermal camera.
I was gonna take a picture, so I'm gonna reach my hand up in here. I'm gonna unplug this. It is plugged in. There's my connector. Right? Unplug this. You see that I have 4 wires. Okay. Look up inside. Let's see if you guys can see this. Nope, because my lens is on the wrong side. I just can't. Okay, wait. We're on. We're up. Okay, cool. How many pins do you see?
I see 2.
Wait, hold on.
What's going on there? You're missing your, what were the 2 middle pins?
The antenna. There's only 2 pins there.
Really?
How many pins are on the back one from the diagram?
2.
How many pins are on the front one from the diagram? This is the front door handle. That's the back door handle.
They just put them on.
It has to be. This is where I was like, Caleb, come out here. Okay, this is where we are. Now I don't know where we are from this point, but I'm fairly confident that the handles were removed because the doors were painted.
Yeah, I get that.
They weren't replaced, they were just removed. So I believe, yes, that they put them in the wrong spot. Easiest freaking door panel ever. Let me unplug it. We have 4 pins, same connector.
Yep.
How many wires?
2.
Okay, 2 wires. How many pins you see, son?
4.
So guess why it's not working. All right, so are you guys with me on what happened? The door handle on here was switched with the door handle up there. So now how do we take the door handle out? I don't know. There's like a area in there where it's captured. I should probably get service info because I did not look this part up. And I've never had these off. Oh,
What did you do?
I just pulled harder. Dude, seriously, that's it. Oh, that's wonderful.
No way. That's what plugs in.
That's wonderful.
Here, let me get
That's your
that.
yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome indeed.
It just pulls right out.
It sure did. Wow, it's easy. Okay. Yeah. I could see this being an easy mistake to make. They are identical, other than number of wires.
What you mean?
Come on, man, the other one went right in. I hate when you're filming me for this stuff. I hate that camera so bad right now. It's like, I don't need you on, it's like a customer looking at me. Like, stop looking at me. Stop looking at me.
I need it to transition.
I hate it. Because I'm struggling with something I shouldn't be struggling with. And all I want to do is swear and throw tools. Look, so I was having issues because of where that is. It was hitting the inside hole and not allowing it to go past.
I like at the right angle.
Yes, because it has to go in. There's a tab that goes in there and a tab that goes in there that slides. And that's why they give movement in that. I was just hitting that. So I just undid this. So that has movement. And now I can put that part back together once I get in there. All right, after much swearing off camera, handles back in. I plugged my electrical connection back in. We'll bolt this door back up. I'll bolt it up off camera. Get it enough where I can work everything. Same thing up here. Let's plug this electrical connection back in. That's plugged back in. You ready? Unlock. Lock. Back door, let's try it. Lock. Crazy, easy fix. Swap the handles. Auto scan, and then I wanted to look at, we said the RTM. Radio transceiver module. Program transmitter stack. No. Nope. Okay, but I think we answered that question as far as the door locks go. The latches don't have lock and unlock mechanisms on the latch on this. The key absolutely was the history. If you did not know that this was in an accident, you probably would have replaced this door handle and probably would have fixed it. Mm-hmm. Even though you have a door handle in the back that has a antenna part to it that was just never being used. It's really the same piece. There's just an extra antenna. There was no wires back there. So that antenna was not communicating with the system at all. And yeah, there was no way to know the key was there. I honestly expected to find something unplugged. I did not expect to find the door handles being flip-flopped. I'm sure that some of you want to see the radio signals and the antenna signals. I don't know if I feel like doing it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I know people want to see it. What's it look like? What kind of signal? What's the unlock look like? What's the lock look like? See your comm wires, the antenna, they're twisted together. Mm-hmm. See the twisted pair? All right, so we'll do the outer ones first. Okay. Phil's probe being my friend here. No way I'm gonna have a breakout connector to do this any other way. Okay, so what I had Caleb do is in between segments here, I had him go in the house and grab the Phoenix Max, grab the lab scope out of it to see if we could interface it with the Phoenix Lite 2, and we can. So yeah, not too much on the tool, but let's get connected. I don't like these leads. Remember what our cat thinks about these leads. How do we feel about the test leads that are available for the Phoenix lab scope? Yeah. So we'll see if I can do it. Let me connect to my Phil's probe and then hopefully find a ground here. Okay, so we got about 12 volts on that wire. And what I want to see, let's see what my time base is here, 50 milliseconds. So unlock. There's signals on that. Lock. Are they different? That's unlock. That's lock. So we have some activity on that wire. So that was the green with a purple, and that's got the same voltage unplugged. And this is the outer wire, should be the ground circuit for that. So that's going to be the signal then. Remember, the outer two were the buttons or the sensor. That's showing like negative 300 millivolts. Wish I had a digital signal here too. I need to learn this, but that's a zero. That's zero on that. Lock and unlock. So it was what they called the V-BAT circuit. Mm-hmm. Is your signal circuit. Yep. It is near battery voltage. Let me go back to it one more time. This will be our yeah, and it doesn't pull all the way. It doesn't pull all the way to ground. So that's about 10 to 11 volt signal. See, that signal is like very low. Let's see if I can trigger off it. I hate this scope. Okay, I'm just watch your voltage levels for me here, guys. Let's zoom in on this so you see it a little bit better. Hit the button. Looks like it pulls down to about 10 volts from just over 12 down to 10, so about a 2 volt. And then there's the unlock. I'm sure it's a different signal, a different looking pattern. If I knew how to use this scope better, I could tell you. That's your signal. Looks like about a 2 volt pull down. And then let's go to the antenna now. This is the second pin down. One of the antenna wires. Okay. That's a crazy looking waveform right there. Okay, like honestly, we're doing this wrong. The reason we're doing this wrong is I'm trying to show you guys signals on the car, and I'm using an unfamiliar lab scope. If I could catch and freeze and store, I'm sure that I can. Now is not the time to do that. That's the one antenna wire, like when I touch it, look, it just buries the pattern. So it's like these voltage scales, like all of this is like really, really frustrating to me to use. It's only the second time I've ever used this thing. Let's try it on that scale. Yeah, I mean, pretty significant looking square waves on that go even beyond 12 volts. That's 32 volts on that screen. It's like burying that scale. And then we'll go in the last antenna wire. And that's the other antenna wire. Yeah, we didn't learn anything on that.
Does anything
signals
happen on either of those if you hit the key fob?
No, I don't think so. I'm not going back through all that again. As far as troubleshooting this goes, we have no more good information on that. As far as the signals go, you know, some of you guys, I know at the end we're like, hey, I want to see those signals. Well, I just showed them to you on an unfamiliar scope. I can't freeze them and dissect each one for you right now. I'm sorry, I can't do it. There are signals on all 4 wires. Sorry, on 3 of the 4. One's a ground wire. Yeah, so there's your signals, and we need to learn more about the actual function inside of this, but that's good enough. Now introducing the Phoenix Lite 2, showing you the lab scope from the Max, works on the Phoenix Lite 2. Dissecting service information is key. That was the key for all of this. And honestly, even more so was knowing a history of this car and knowing that these door handles were off before we were in here was absolutely key in figuring out that these two were swapped with each other. Imagine doing that where you go in there and you would never really think to look at the pins inside. I was looking at the pins to see if maybe they were bent down, because that was the only way I could justify what we were looking at, given that our signals, our proximity sensor was working properly. Bent pins is what I was looking for. And then when I saw 2 pins, yeah, I connected the dots that these were off. These were off when they painted the door. And so, yeah, history of the vehicle, talking to your customer, knowing when the problem started, all significant information. Having a good service information platform to use, getting good service information, having a good scan tool to give you the data that you need, all of that put together with this one. Just look for more stuff in the future. We thank you guys so much for being here with us. Normally we would put this one on SD Premium, but it's been a while since you guys have seen something new from us here on YouTube, so that's where this is going. Thank you guys so much for everything, and we'll see you next time.